Hey everyone, today I'm going to talk about one of my favorite concepts and one of my favorite tools in product management. So today we are going to talk about wireframes. I'm going to tell you what wireframes are, how they can be helpful for you as a product manager, how you can create your own wireframes, and also what are the 4 important ideas that you should consider before creating any kind of wireframes. In order to do all of that, we are going to use the tool known as Figma. So I'm going to tell you what Figma is, what is the overview of the interface, why the tool is so much popular out there. I'm also going to tell you how you can collaborate with your team members such as designers and developers by using this particular tool Figma. Then we are going to give you a walkthrough of how to create your wireframes quickly with Figma. And then we are going to together create a wireframe of a Q&A website such as Quora. And then in the end, as a bonus, I'm also going to tell you how to convert your wireframe into a working prototype. So let's go ahead and get started. So wireframes are visual communication tools which are used to set up the structure and flow of the solution that you are trying to communicate. Okay, so as a product manager, you have to do a lot of stakeholder management. You have to be able to communicate your ideas to your stakeholders such as designers, such as developers, and also the strategy team and different kind of other stakeholders. So wireframes could be a very helpful tool for you to communicate your ideas in a visual format to these people or any kind of stakeholders. Now this is what a wireframe looks like. I'm sure most of you are aware of what a wireframe looks like. This is another example. Now on the basis of whether your wireframe is very detailed, as in it contains the actual colors, it contains like the right kind of detailing, or if it is less detailed, like it is lacking details and it's only block and some sample text out there. On the basis of this, wireframes could be classified into 2 categories. One is high-fidelity wireframes, which have more details, and the second is low-fidelity wireframes, which is less details. Okay, so low-fidelity wireframes, as you can see on the screen, are with less details. They only talk about the structure. They do not talk about the exact details of the element. While if you see on the different side, there is high-fidelity wireframes where many things are mentioned. It is more closer to the completed product. As a product manager, it is suggested to keep your wireframes low fidelity in the start so that when you are discussing with your stakeholders, people should not comment on the color and the positioning, and they should actually talk on whether the flow is going to be helpful for the users or not. So now before we could go ahead and jump into how do we create wireframes and what Figma is, let us try to understand 4 major ideas that you should know before creating any kind of wireframes. The first idea is wireframing is more about communication and less about design. So understand, you are not here to showcase your artistic skills as a designer, as in yes, this should be the color of the button, this should be the size of the button, but it is used to communicate the solution which you think could be helpful to the users in order to solve their problems. So focus on making wireframes as a communication tool rather than a design tool. That's the work of the designer. They are going to detail it as they want. Second idea is wireframes have a very high return on investments. Okay, what it means is that it is very cheap, very quick to create wireframes. You can create multiple wireframes in a day. While if you go ahead and put your half-baked ideas to the design team or to the development team, and when they go ahead, start with the design or start with the development, the ideas becomes costlier. So use these wireframes to your advantages. Create as many wireframes before fixing on any kind of a particular solution and before overcommitting to a particular kind of solution out there. Similarly, wireframes are quick iteration tools. You can create as many wireframes as you want. Okay, so do not try to defend your wireframes just because you have gone ahead and invested time in creating that wireframes. Wireframes are easy to create. Understand, if you go ahead and try to iterate on real code solutions or solutions which are well designed, it would be difficult for you to go ahead and iterate. So it is very easy to iterate in the initial wireframe phase, then to iterate in the design phase or in the development phase. And the last part is, this is the most important part, which is understand the user goals before creating any kind of wireframes. Okay, most of the people make mistake that they go ahead and they have some kind of vague idea in their mind and they start creating the wireframes while they forget about the problem that they are solving for the user. Anytime when you create a wireframe, you should have a goal in mind that this solution that I am creating, is it solving the need of the user in the best possible way or not? Now we are going to talk about a tool Figma, which we are going to use to create our wireframes. And there are 4 reasons why we have chosen Figma over other tools. The first reason is it's a multi-purpose tool. So whether you want to create wireframes, complex UIs, prototypes, do collaboration with your team, create flow diagrams, or eventually hand over your design to the developer, all of that could be done in Figma. You do not have to depend on other kind of tools. The second reason is it's collaborative. So understand your work as a product manager is mostly to go ahead and collaborate with your team, which is to give them ideas, give them feedback, get ideas from them, collect the feedback, and then act on the feedback. So you have to do a lot of collaboration, and Figma by default is designed for collaboration. Then it's very easy to use. In the next 5-7 minutes, you are going to see that you will be able to create wireframes on your own. And then it's free for most of the use cases. Okay, so now we are going to talk about the UI of Figma, like what it has to offer. So we are going to talk about how you can create the new file, how you can go ahead and understand about pages and frames. We are going to talk about how we can create so many shapes. We are going to talk about building text elements, moving elements here and there, commenting on someone else's design, or maybe asking someone for their comments. And then we'll eventually talk about export and share. So let us go ahead and try to open Figma. So I'll go to my browser and I'll quickly type Figma. So it's a browser-based tool, browser-first tool. It is also available as a downloadable software, but we would prefer the web version right now. So when you go ahead on the Figma website, you are going to see there is an option to sign up. So once you go ahead and sign up for a free account, you will be landing on this particular interface. Okay, so this interface contains three important things, three CTAs. First is new design file, second is new FIGMA file, and then import file. Through import file, you can go ahead, and if you already have some Figma file where you have worked in the past, you can go ahead and import the file over here. Second is new FIGMA file. Understand Figma has also very recently launched a whiteboard, collaborative whiteboard, through which you and your team can go ahead and collaborate with each other. So it's like a whiteboard where your team can come, they can add comments, you can add comments, and then you can go ahead and do some brainstorming together. After this, the most important part is a new design file, which is going to be the conversation for today, which is through which you can go ahead and create any kind of wireframes or mostly the complex UIs as well. So we are going to go ahead and create a new design file. Once you create a new design file, now a blank screen would be shown. So this is where you have to work. So now here, we are going to understand what the tools are, and then I'm going to go ahead and tell you how to create a wireframe. So the first tool is here is frame. Okay, so frame is like your canvas. So once you go ahead and choose the frame, it is going to tell you what is the device that you are trying to build for. So if you can see on the right side, there are all the properties that are mentioned. Okay, so once I choose any tools from here, on the right side, you will see all the properties associated with the same. Okay, so here it is asking me, do you want to go ahead and use these kind of screens? Okay, so I'll go ahead and tell them that I'm building for a desktop. Okay, so desktop, it has MacBook Pro 14. So I'll click on this and you'll see that a particular white screen is appearing. So this is my canvas. I'm going to go ahead and put all the design elements over here. You can make an analogy that this is like the screen. Okay, so screen by screen, we go ahead and design some kind of web application or some kind of thing, some kind of UI out there. Okay, so this is frame. Frame is your canvas. We are going to do everything in frame. Okay, you can have multiple frame in a page. So this is a page. Okay, you can also create more pages, and these pages can also contain more frames. Okay, so frame is nothing but a way to go ahead and organize all of your smaller components together. It's like a screen. Similarly, there is another way to go ahead and combine your components, show your components. Okay, which is section. Okay, and then the third part is slides, which I'm going to tell you in few moments. So this is frame. After this, the second important option is the shapes. Okay, so there are multiple shapes that multiple default shapes that Figma offers. So we have first rectangle. I can go ahead and create any kind of rectangle out there. So when I go ahead and create this rectangle, you will see that properties are mentioned over here. These are the properties of the currently selected element. If I select this element, these properties will mention the properties of this rectangle. If I click on this particular thing, which is the frame, then it will show me the properties of this particular frame. Okay, which is like the length and height of this particular frame. So I'll go ahead and click on this rectangle again, and I'll see what are the properties that are available. Okay, so this is the width, this is the height. I can go ahead, if I go ahead and change this, you'll see that the height is quickly increasing, and then I can also go ahead and change the colors as well. Okay, and then similarly, if I want to go ahead and add an outline, I can click on stroke, so it will add some kind of outline. So you can see that now a black border is appearing. Okay, and I can also change the color and everything of the same as well. Okay, so this is what a rectangle is. Similarly, we have other kind of shapes as well. So we have a rectangle, we have a line, we have an arrow, we have an ellipse, we have a polygon, like n-sided n-sided shape out there, and we can also add stars and all. If you want to add an image or something, that also could be done from here. Okay, you can capture that image and you can put it over here. Okay, so this we are going to use in a short while in order to create our wireframes. Okay, but shapes are going to be very important in order to create any wireframe, because you look at wireframes, these are just collections of shapes here and there. Okay, now talking about the second kind of tool, which is pen. Okay, so suppose that you want to create some kind of shape and that is not available. Okay, you have to draw that shape out there. So pen can help you out. For example, I want to create this particular thing. I don't know what I'm creating, but let me show you. Okay, so this is an open-ended shape which is not available here. So I'll go ahead and, which is not available in the default shape. So I'll go ahead and create it with a pen. So I'll click on done and then it is created. I can now go ahead. Its properties are also available. I can go ahead and change the color and I can select this. Yeah, first I need to select this and then I'll be able to go ahead and change the color and do okay, so I'm changing the color of the stroke. I have to change the color of the fill. Okay, so I'll go ahead and change the color and now the color is changed. Okay, but as a product manager, you do not have to, you will not, like, I think you will never need this kind of tool out there. Okay, the default shapes are going to work for you. After this, we have text. This is also an important element. Okay, so if you want to add text anywhere, you can go ahead and add text. For example, I have added help. I'll just go ahead and I can increase the size. So when you click on this, its properties will also appear. Okay, so these properties are controlling how this particular thing should look. Okay, so I can just go ahead and choose any kind of fonts. Figma has so many fonts out there. Okay, so I'll maybe choose this particular font. Not a good idea. So I'll go ahead and choose a very famous font which is known as Open Sans. Where is O? Okay, so this is O. I'll just go ahead and choose Open Sans. Okay, so very common font. I can go ahead and change like how the font should look like, bold, extra bold, all the variations are mentioned over here. I can also change the size of the text. Okay, and there are other like simple properties of text as well. Okay, which is I can increase the line height. I can change the distance between vertical letters out there. I can also go ahead and change the color of this. Okay, so all of this is available. Okay, so now this is all that you need in order to create any kind of wireframes. Okay, but just one more thing that I want to tell you, which is if you want to go ahead, this tool is very important. If you want to go ahead and someone has shared some kind of design file with you, then you will see that this option will be activated for you. This option is for adding your comments. For example, your designer has shared with you a design in Figma. Now you want to give them feedback that whether it is correct or not. So you can just go ahead, click on anywhere and you can say that no, this should work well. Let's define the user goal. Okay, so now you can see that yes, this is mentioned. If you click on this, this is available and your designer can go ahead, they can also respond on the same, and then you can go ahead and resolve. Whenever you go ahead and add the comments, it will be also sent to you and the designer or anyone who is working on this file over email, so you are not missing out on that. Okay, so this is it. Understand, comments, it looks like a very small feature, but it's a very important feature for you as a product manager. Okay, because you are only giving feedback and taking the feedback from people. Okay, this is like the real thing that makes Figma more collaborative, because Figma is collaborative because it allows you to comment very freely on any point, on any pixel. You can go ahead and comment. So it's very easy to share your feedback, and also it is web based. You do not have to, anyone does not have to go ahead and install any kind of software. You can get Figma in your browser. Okay, so it makes it collaborative by design. And now if you want to go ahead and drag your space here and there, you can obviously go ahead, click on this. This is just used to drag your things here and there, and it should be okay. Okay, and now just one option, that what was the use of this slice tool. So by using the slice tool, you can select any part of the document and export it into an image. So I'll go ahead, I've clicked this, then I can export this, and then I can see that yes, it would be exported as a PNG. So this was all about Figma. So we have talked about how to create a new file, that is from the home page. You can also do it from the drop down menu. Pages and frames I have told you, shapes and pen I have told you, text I have told you, drag and move I have told you, comments I have told you, and export and share I have also told you. Just for a last bit, you can also share the Figma from here. You can just click on here and you can enter the email ID of person that you want to share with, or you can go ahead and copy this link and share it with anyone that you want. Okay, so this is like the 101 on Figma. Now we are going to go ahead and create a wireframe together. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and create a wireframe for a question and answer forum such as score. Okay, so if you talk about any of the question and answer forums, these are 5 needed functionalities. Okay, the first functionality is to ask a question. The second functionality is to answer a question. The third functionality is to view the answers. Then I should be able to find relevant answers as the user, and then I should be able to discover interesting questions. Okay, so these are the 5 things that should be present in our wireframe. So let us go ahead and start. Okay, so we'll go ahead. Okay, we'll start from the beginning. We'll go to figma.com. We'll click on new design file, and then we will select a frame. So we are designing for the mobile sim. Okay, and then you can repeat the same step for the desktop as well. But these days, if you are creating any kind of B2C product which is to be consumed by like the end user, which are your consumers, which are more in number, then we would suggest that always go with mobile first design, which is you design first for mobile and then for the desktop, because most of the people are consuming the consuming your product through a mobile. Okay, so click on this. We'll select maybe a phone, which is, let us say, an Android large phone. Okay, so this is the screen that is in front of us. Okay, so now first thing that you have to create is the menu. So I'll go ahead and just put a small rectangle over there. Okay, understand I do not need to put more details because it's just a wireframe. It only shows the structure. Okay, maybe I can show a logo as well. So I'll just go ahead and create logo and just like write logo, and I will put it over there. Okay, or in place of logo, I could have also done is I will just copy this thing. I will just go ahead, not copy. I'll just go ahead and click another rectangle. I'll make its color a bit darker, and I can also put it over there. Okay, and I can go ahead and change its size. You can just simply change its size by using this particular arrow and using your arrow keys. Okay, so this is also good. Okay, now let us go ahead and try to make our first page, which is ask a question. Okay, so this page is ask a question. So in order to keep things trackable, I'll make the name of this screen as ask a question. Okay, so now it is there. Now I have to go ahead and create a screen where people can go ahead and ask a question. And if someone has to ask a question, they should be having multiple options. Okay, they should be having first an option to go ahead and put the text. They should have an option to choose a category which the question belongs to, and they should have an option to they should have a button so that they can press it and the question should be posted. Okay, so let's go ahead. This is the text area. Okay, I'll make it white and I'll put an outline over there from stroke. Okay, so now this is the text area. Okay, now I can Control C, Control V, copy this element, or I can choose a new element. So I can again choose a rectangle, and here I am going to give the categories. Okay, so I want to show that yes, when you go ahead and post a question, you have to choose a category to which this question belongs so that other people can find it easily. Okay, so I'll go ahead, take a text element and write choose category. Okay, so I'll put it over there. Right, and then I'll go ahead and pick a new shape, which is a small triangle. Okay, in the triangle I'll just go ahead and okay, so this triangle is upside down. I'm using it as an arrow to show the drop down, right? So what I'll do is I'll first change the color. I'll make it a bit more darker. Okay, and then I'll go ahead and move it upside down. I can do it from here. This is the degree, so you can see it here. Okay, so this is the rotation angle. I'll make it 180 degrees. It will turn upside down. Okay, so I can just go ahead, drag it and move it there. So this will show the user that yes, this is for choosing the category. It is a drop down over there. Okay, and now I have to make a call to action button, which is post the question. Okay, or submit the question. Right, so here also I'll use a text. I'll write post question. So I'll just put it over there. Okay, and maybe I'll just increase, like maybe in order to make CTA more prominent, I can just go ahead and increase the color. Okay, so this is how you are going to go ahead and post the question out there. Okay, so this is screen number 1. You can also go ahead in order to make it better for the user. You can push these things down. So if you go ahead and drag your cursor and try to select all items together, then you can move them together by using this button. Okay, and then I'll go ahead, in order to give people more room to write, I can go ahead and put this up there. Okay, so this is the first screen through which I can go ahead and put my question here. So I'll also write, in order to help the user, I'll also write that write your question here. Okay, so this is the first page that is created. Now we'll go ahead and create second page. Okay, so I can go ahead, just copy on this. Okay, I'll click on this particular thing and I will Control C, Control V, I'll copy and paste. So it will create a similar kind of screen. So in the similar screen, everything is there. I'll just remove all of these things by selecting them. Okay, I'll just select all of these things and I'll press delete. Okay, now the second page is about answer question. How do I answer the question? Okay, so now in order to answer the question, I should be able to see the question and then I should be able to go ahead and put my input out there. Okay, so now first thing, I'll put a text element which will mention the question. Okay, so this is the question, and here I'll write some text in the question that this is the real question you should answer. Okay, or maybe let me write, why should we use Figma? Okay, so in order to make this a label, I'll just give it like a more prominence. So this is bold. So question is, why should we use Figma? This is the question. And now if a user wants to add an answer, they should have a place to add this, right? So I'll go ahead, they should have a text element. So I'll just go ahead and put a text element over here and I'll write it. Okay, right. So you can see that now when I was dragging, copying this particular thing and pasting it over here, it was not visible. Why? Because understand, here are all the layers. All of these things that we talk about, these components, these are actually layers which are stacked one over the other. Okay, so this is not visible. This is not visible because this rectangle is on top of this particular screen, so it cannot be visible. So what we'll do is we'll drag this rectangle below the text. Okay, so now it is visible. Okay, so you can check the visual hierarchy from the right side. So we'll just go ahead, we will write here what? Type your answer here. Okay, and then we'll again need a CTA, so we'll just go ahead and copy this. Okay, and we'll go ahead and copy this and we'll come to this, we'll make this frame active and then we'll paste this. Okay, so this is here, right? Or we could have taken like another rectangle and created the same CTA. Okay, and now I'll write it down to post answer. So now with this, I can go ahead and create an answer out there. Okay, you can also do the same, that you give the user more room to write. You can put it at the bottom and then you can increase this size of this particular thing as well. Okay, after this, once the question has been posted, I should be able to, once the answer has been, I'll just go ahead and first added this, add the, okay. So once the answer has been posted, I as a user should know that the answer has been posted. So I'll go ahead and create a success screen. Okay, so I'll paste, copy this again, remove these things. I'll remove this, okay, and I'll add this. Answer added successfully. Okay, so here what will be shown? So I want to show a success button. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and put it over here. I'll mention an emoticon. Okay, so if on Mac you will write Control, Command and space bar, you will get emoticons. Okay, so I'll just use an emoticon of check mark. Okay, so check mark I'll use, which will show me that yes, I have gone ahead and done this. So in order to increase, so understand, check mark is also a font, so I can definitely go ahead and increase its size and everything. Okay, so I'll select this, increase the size. Okay, and then I'll take some more text and I will write successfully sent. Okay, or maybe I could say that thanks for your contribution. Okay, now this is going outside, so what I'll do is I'll reduce the size of the text so that it is there. I can reduce the size from the text from the properties that is given on the right hand side. Okay, so this is done, and now most probably user would want to go ahead and they would want to share their answers with other people as well in their social network. Okay, so I want to add a share button. So now I'm going to show you how you can go ahead and take any image from the internet and paste it on Figma. Okay, so let's go ahead. I want to search for a share. Okay, I'll click on image. Okay, and I have found multiple share buttons. Okay, so maybe I'll go ahead and use this one. Okay, so I'll go ahead, click on this, and then I will see copy image, not copy image address, copy image. Okay, once I have copied the image, I'll go ahead and control V here. I'll paste the image here, and now the image will appear. I can go ahead and resize the image. Okay, if you want to make sure that the aspect ratio of the image should not disturb, make sure that you are pressing shift while resizing the image through your cursor. Okay, so now I can go ahead and make sure that people are able to share as well. Okay, so but icon is not very obvious, so what I'll do is I'll also place a control call to action. Okay, so I'll click on rectangle again, I'll put this over here, and then I'll put it here. Okay, so this is there, and now I can write it on the screen, share. Okay, so people will be able to know that this is what the button does. Now it is also invisible. Why? Because this particular rectangle that is active right now is above visual hierarchy, is above the share icon, is above like the share CTA in the visual hierarchy. So I'll go ahead and put it here. Okay, so this is the button that we have gone ahead and created. Cool. So this is done, which says that our question is successful. Answer is successfully posted. Okay. Now I want to view the answers. Okay. So how can I view the answers? Let us go ahead and try to make that. Okay. So this is for viewing answers on a particular question. Okay. So I'll just go ahead, and this is also known as a question page, where I can go ahead and see the question in detail and also its associated answers. Okay, so I'll just go ahead, create one more thing, which is the question is, why do we use Figma? So this was the question. Okay, and we can go ahead and create some kind of answers. Okay, so maybe say that this is answer. Yeah, so yes, so let us say that this was the question. Okay, and then this was the and this was the answer. Answer 1. This is this is the first answer. Okay, so now it is done. Now I also need to show who is the particular user who has answered this question. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll need to show information of the user as well. Okay, so what I'll do is I will go ahead and pick one more element. Okay, I'll go ahead and pick a circle, because these days user information is shown in the form of a circle most of the time. So this will contain the DP of the user. Okay, so this is there. Consider this as the DP of the user, display picture of the user. Then I'll go ahead and again pick a text element. I'll write the name of maybe user 1. Okay, so I've written the name. Now I will drag and drop here and there. I will reduce the size. Now I have this. Okay, and now the user would also, like, in order to make sure that there is some credibility to the answer, we would also want to add the credentials of the user. Okay, so I'll add, he is maybe the product manager at X. Okay, so I have added some kind of user profile information as well. Okay, so I'll just go ahead, make it a bit more prominent, and then reduce the size. Okay, so this is there. So now I have this, I can go ahead and say this. So now people will understand that yes, this is a long answer which has been shared by this person. Okay, similarly, if I want to go ahead and show more answers in my wireframe, what I'll do is I'll just copy this, and I can Control C, Control V. I can add more. Or another way is I can just go ahead and select all of these things through my cursor, and then I can click on group selection. So now this will be moved together, so I can just go ahead and copy paste all of these things. but still many details are missing. Okay, some details are missing, which is the number of upvotes are not like visible. Okay, so I can go ahead and create some upvotes and downvotes as well. Okay, so I'll go ahead, look at an arrow, create a small triangle which will show what? Yes, upvotes. So 10 upvotes. Similarly, I can go ahead and create downvotes as well. Okay, so I'll copy paste this, and then I will, in order to create this arrow upside down, I will put this particular rotation to 180 degrees. Okay, so now I have 5 downvotes. Okay, now I want to go ahead and put all of these together. I want to go ahead and show other answers as well. Okay, so I'll go ahead and put it into a group. Now this is grouped together. I will go ahead and Control C and Control V. So now I have second answer as well. Okay, but this answer is a bit longer. So what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and yes. So I'll just go ahead and add some more content to this answer. Okay. Now I have to move all of these things as well. Okay, so I'll go ahead, put it down, put this at the top. Okay, I think I have fucked up something. I'll remove all of this. Okay, so now let us go ahead and copy this. Okay, I will ungroup all of this so that I can move these things here and there. Okay, now I'll just go ahead, select all of these things and move them at the bottom. Then I'll increase the length of this. Okay, so now this is a bigger answer, but still we can show this. Okay, so now this is from user number. Okay, he is maybe a product manager. Okay, so this is how you can go ahead and create a page where people can go ahead and see the answers as well. Okay, and they can upvote and downvote the answers as well. Okay, and this is the question which you want, you can show it with a bit of more prominence by giving it a bold. Okay, but understand these are the calls that a designer has to take. You only have to go ahead and show the overall flow. Okay, now once the view answer is done, the next step is find relevant answers. Okay, so yes, so in order to find the relevant answers, what we'll do is so relevant answer as in I can just go ahead and I can again copy this. Okay, so here at the bottom I can show one more thing which will show me the related. I can copy this text element again and I can say which is the other relevant answers. Okay, and then maybe I can go ahead and show answers in this way, or I can just go ahead and put answers in a different way. So I can go ahead and create a carousel at the bottom. Okay, so I'll just go ahead, create a rectangle, small rectangle. Okay, and now since this is on mobile, I can show like a very good view of some carousels. Okay, so other answers would be mentioned here. Okay, which is related answers. Okay, so I'll just go ahead, again take some text. Now it is not visible, so I'll put it. Yeah, so it is not visible. I have to put it at the top. So now it is visible. Yes. So I'll talk about this answer 3. I'll make it less prominent. This is answer 3 and it is given by user number 3. Okay, so I can put it here. Now also it is not visible, so I'll just go ahead, put all of these things at the top. Okay, so now it is visible. I can similarly go ahead, and since this was like it is matching the color, it is why it is not visible. I'll just go ahead and make it less prominent. Okay, so now the DP is visible. I'll just simply go ahead, copy this and turn this more, and in order to show that it is scrollable, I'll just put a small arrow. Okay, So I'll just put a small arrow here, but it is in the wrong direction. So I'll just use this in order to make it 0 degrees. So now it shows me that I can scroll at this point of time. Okay, so this is how I can go ahead and look at answers. Now this is not very neat, but you got the idea, right? And then this was about view relevant answers. Okay, after this, the next part is to go ahead and discover interesting questions. Okay, so we should design a home page through which people should be able to discover some interesting content, right? So we'll click on this, we'll remove everything that we have done so far. Okay, and then we will show maybe trending questions at the top. So I'll take the text again on the blank canvas. I'll write trending. Okay, I'll go ahead and increase the font size. Okay, then I'll write some of the questions out there. Okay, so maybe first question is, who is winning the Hockey World Cup? Okay, this is maybe the relevant question, and here I could see that yes, there are 10 answers, and maybe I can show 10 answers, and maybe I can show a link, a CTA through which people can go ahead and see all the answers. Okay, I can write a explore button. Okay, so people can go ahead and just check the answer. Now it is not visible, so what I'll do, I'll just go ahead and change its hierarchy. Okay, now this is an explore button. Okay, now the second question could be something else, so I'll just reduce the prominence here as well. Okay, so the first part, this is the second question, this is the similar kind of, these are the 3 top trending questions, and I can also go ahead and add a small button, a small link, which will say this, which will say that view all, which is, you just click on this, you'll see all the trending questions out there. Okay, now after this, we'll say trending topics. Okay, in the trending topics, we'll go ahead and we'll mention something. Okay, so we'll go ahead, take a rectangle, we'll again make a carousel. So this is there. Okay, I can go ahead and give some rounded border to these people. Okay, so maybe first trending topic is hash sports, or maybe layoffs 2023. Okay, which is quite famous and trending these days. I'll go ahead and put it over here. Okay, maybe the second topic is Shark Tank Season 2. Okay, and there could be other topics as well, and which will be shown on the other part of the screen, which shows that this is a scrollable screen out there. Okay, now we can show some trending users as well. Okay, which is top users. Okay, users who are really participating very actively, and their content is being consumed by a lot of people. Okay, so I can say you choose the same kind of UI. I will choose in order to choose a user, I'll go ahead and put their DP. Now I'll change the color to make it a bit more prominent so that it looks. So this is there. I can copy this to write the name of the user, user1. Okay, and then I can also write that they are trending in a particular topic. Okay, so maybe they are talking about hiring. This is the favorite topic that they are talking about, why they are becoming popular. Okay, so user can also go ahead and click on this hashtag. Okay, similarly, I can go ahead and copy this again. I will just go ahead, Control C. I have more such users. Okay, this is user 2. This is user 3, and you can change the hashtags as well. Okay, and at the bottom you can add multiple things, such as these are some more important questions, these are some more important users, and this is what you should go ahead and talk about. Okay, so this is how we have created the wireframe. Okay, so wireframe is there. Now you will find sometimes that your elements are going beyond, these are the frames, right? So these are of frames. This should be known by the names. Okay, so we have to just change this name. This is home page. Okay, so now everything that is outside, you have to figure out where it is. Okay, you have to select all of them. They should not go outside the frame. Okay, so we'll just select all of them and drag them inside the home page. Okay, so now everything is good right now. Okay, now you want to share this particular piece as a PNG or as a PDF with someone. So you'll just go ahead, click here and click on File, Export Frames to PDF. Now it is there. Just click on this and you should be able to find that yes, all the things are in front of you. So you have gone ahead and created your first wireframe. So now let's revisit our wireframes and see if we can make some further optimizations. So this was the first screen. So understand that here you can on any kind of Q&A website, you have to make sure that we can also go ahead and add the ability to ask a question anonymously. Okay, so I will go ahead and make a slight change in my wireframe. So I'll put this down. Okay, and then I'll try to create a small checkbox like this, and then I can make it a perfect square from property. So it is 12 by 12. So now it is a perfect square. Then I can give it a stroke. Okay, and then I can add a small text saying that post anonymously. Okay, so if the user wants to go ahead, they want to post this anonymously, they will just go ahead and check this box and that would be question would be posted anonymously. Now on the second screen, okay, yes, this is there, and here also I think we should be able to go ahead and give the user the option to post anonymously. So we'll just go ahead and copy this, come to this particular frame by selecting the title, and then we will paste this. Okay, so then we will adjust the position. So now my answer would also be appearing as anonymous. Okay, so this is there. Now here, if there is an anonymous user, we have to make sure that we are also keeping that in mind. So we will in this name, we can maybe also put an option of anonymous. Okay, and if this is anonymous, title of the profile would not be there. Okay, so this is it. And maybe on the home page, we should make sure that there is an option in the menu. There is an option for people to go ahead and add a question, right? So I'll just go ahead, click on this rectangle, make a button over there. It is not visible right now because the colors of the background and the foreground are similar. Okay, this is now the new button, and in this button I'll do nothing, but I'll just first make it a square, so 30 by 30, and then I will make sure that I'll put a plus sign. This will show the user that yes, this is like a, yeah, so it will show the user that yes, this is like a yes, so this is like a plus button to add the new question. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and drag it at the top so that it is visible. So now you could see it is barely visible. So what I'll have to do is I have to change its color. I'll change its color from black to white. Still it is not visible. Why? Because the rectangle is at its top. Okay, so I'll just drag this from here, from the left window, and then I'll put it here. So now it is visible. Just understand that this is the visual hierarchy. Things which are at the top are going to be at the top in the 3D visual hierarchy. Okay, it is like a stack of layers. Then by clicking this, I can go ahead and do this. I will just go ahead and copy this thing. Okay, and I'll just go ahead and paste it here. Paste it everywhere. Okay, there is also a concept of components which can help you reduce this work. You don't have to copy paste it every time, but that is beyond like a scope of what a product manager should be knowing. Okay, so now this is what we have created in a wireframe. Okay, now let us go ahead and try to understand how we can create a prototype. Okay, so prototype is nothing, but you can go ahead and rather than sharing your wireframe in the form of a PNG or in the form of a PDF, you can share it in the form of an interactive item. in the form of an interactive product manager. So let us go ahead and see what prototypes are. Okay, so if you go to this particular section, then Figma will enter into a prototype mode. Okay, so when you talk about prototypes, there are three things that you should take care of. The first thing is what interaction that you are going to do. Okay, you are going to click, you are going to tap, you are going to drag. What is the interaction that you are going to do? The second part is which element are you going to do the interaction with? You are going to do it with a button, with a text element, with a link or something. Okay, and the third element is what is going to happen after that interaction. Okay, so for example, if you go ahead, click a button, then other page should appear. So these are the three components. What is the action? On which element are you going to perform the action, and what should happen after? Okay, so let us understand this. So if I go ahead and post a question, then what should happen? This page should be loaded. If I go ahead and post a question, then I should be landing into this particular page, right? Which is the details of the question out there. Okay, so I'll just go ahead. Whenever I go ahead and post a question, I'll click on this. Okay, so whenever this button is pressed, I'll click on this plus button. Okay, and then I'll drag it to this particular screen. Okay, that yes, when the question is posted, so now a pop-up will appear. Okay, so when you click on this, what do you want to do? So I want to, on tapping, okay, when I tap on this particular button which is post question, I should be navigated to this particular frame, okay, which is view answer. So this is the first thing. Now this is done, or maybe we can go ahead and add some kind of animation as well. Maybe I'll add a slide in animation. Okay, there are other animations as well, but that is beyond your scope as a product manager. Your designer is a better person to better equipped to do these kind of things. Okay, then after this, whenever someone goes ahead and wants to add a question, okay, so this is the thing out here. Okay, if someone clicks on this, okay, I'll just first make it a group so that if people are clicking on that whole element, so I'll go to design again, I'll make this button and its rectangle into a particular group so that it will be considered as one element. Okay, so I'll go to prototype again, I'll clicking on this, like add a question, this particular screen to ask a question. Okay, yes, so now I have added to this. On tap of that particular button plus button, it should navigate to this and the animation should be slided. Okay, now the third element is whenever I go ahead and try to add an answer. Okay, whenever I go ahead and try to add the answer here from this screen, then it should take me to this particular screen that yes, I have gone ahead and successfully posted the answer. So same settings. So on tap of this button, this particular screen, this particular frame should be loaded and it should come from sliding. Okay, that is the animation. So this is done. Now when on the home screen, okay, I want to go ahead and if I click on explore, then I should be taken to the complete answer page. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and put it over here. So whenever I'm clicking on this button, I should be taken to the detail page. So this is also the same kind of interaction. Okay, quickly I'll just do one more thing, that how do I go ahead and add an answer. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and add one more button. I'll go to the design again, I'll add one more button, which is the question page, like where most of the answer, where all the answers are visible for that particular question. We should also add one more button so that people can add their answers as well. Okay, so I'll just go ahead, this is the button, I'll create a text and write an answer. Okay, and this will be our gateway to this particular page where people can add the answer. Okay, so this is done. I'll just go ahead and again go to prototype. Now whenever I'm clicking on this particular button, I should be landing to this page where I can add the answer of this particular question. Okay, and then I can post the answer. When I click on this, this is already connected to this. Okay, so this is done. Okay, now let us see how it looks like. Okay, so now we have connected the screen. So what we have done is when some person is adding their question, they will be landing to this screen where they can check the question out there. If you are doing it like at the same period of time, like very quickly after adding the question, you will not be able to see the answer, but you'll be able to see the question. Okay, and then after some period of time, answers will appear once people have gone through them. Then if you go ahead and go to the home page, if you click on this, then or from anywhere on the page right now, if you go ahead and click on this, then what will happen? If you click on this, then the ask a question screen should appear. Okay, and when you go ahead and ask a question again, this is going to be a loop. After that, if you are on the home page and if you click on explore, like if you want to see the answers of that question and the details of the question out there, then you click on this and then you'll be landing on the answer screen. Okay, and once you are on the answering screen, you want to go ahead and add your own answer as well. You can click on this, add answer, and then it will be taking you to this particular screen. And when you post the answer, it should happen. It should take you to here. Okay, so now let us go ahead and see how it works. So I'll click on display button. This will enter into the prototype mode. So let's click on this button. And you can share this URL with, you can go ahead and click on the share prototype. It will be shared with the person that you want to. Okay, so I'll go ahead, I'll click on post question. Okay, now you can see that all of this is written here. Okay, now if I go ahead and add answer, then I can go ahead and add an answer. If I go ahead and post an answer, I should be able to see that yes, it is successfully posted. Okay, however, right now I have not made a gateway. Okay, so I should make sure that the first screen should actually be the home page screen. Okay, so I'll go back. Okay, I'll make sure that this should be the flow starting point. So there would be a flow number 3 where this should be the starting point. So let us go ahead and again click on this button. Okay. So this is the flow number 3 where we'll go ahead. If we click on explore, then this is appearing. Okay. If I click on flow 3 again refresh the, if I go ahead and restart this, then if I click on this plus button, I'll be taken to the question screen. Okay, so now you can see this is animated. It is more easier for people to go ahead and look at your flow rather than a PDF or a wire or maybe a PNG out there. Okay, so this prototype can take your wireframes to the next level. Okay, so this is about it. But understand, like although we have gone ahead and understand all of these things in detail, as a product manager, you do not have to focus much on design. I'm repeating this fact again. You do not have to focus much on design. Go ahead, give the flow to the designer out there and let them figure out the design, the interaction, what should be the quality of the elements and everything, and let them do their job. Okay, but yes, whenever you are going ahead and submitting case studies or the interviews or coming up with any kind of presentations, make sure that you are taking the help of wireframes to make your ideas a bit more tangible. Thank you everyone. Bye and take care.